The following program is sponsored by The Greek, Ely's Radio Shack dealer at 570 Altman in downtown Ely, and brought to you as a public service by Georgetown Media in Ely, Nevada. White Pine County Tourism Recreation Board meeting, November 26, 2019.
You're well practiced, Marietta.
Yeah, we're very
All
confident.
right, tell me when to start.
Well, I'd say it's 4 o'clock.
I think we're good.
All right. I'd like to call the meeting to order for White Pine County Tourism and Recreation Board. Today is Tuesday, November 26, 2019. The time is approximately 4:04 p.m. Would you please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. At this time, item 1 is public comment. Do we have anyone who would like to come and speak?
George is here.
George, can you come up so she
All
can hear you
right.
closer to the hub, please?
Where is she anyway?
Right here. The one in the middle.
Marietta,
I
no
can
more
hear
phone
you.
calls. To be on this board, you need to show up. Not just you, but, you know, recently I went to a city council meeting. The mayor, one councilman, and everybody else was on a phone. Not gonna get it. When they take on a responsibility, they're gonna show up, or they need to move on. This is wrong, folks. I take the time, I close my business, and I'm here. So do some of these other people that attend. That being said, Madam Chairman, the board granted approximately $6,000 to $10,000 to the Nevada Northern Railway for a story or program of some sort to promote the new reindeer flyer program for the Christmas holiday. I can't remember the exact figure. It wasn't what they originally requested, but there was a figure there. I want to know if that's been done, and have you paid for that particular feature? And if so, what did you pay? And if you have a copy, I'd like the storyline or whatever was done. If something isn't done, no money needs to change hands. What you say is what you do. If you don't do it, don't come here with your money. You can hand out your money, excuse me. The hotel motel industry depends on a lot of these promotions. So when this board is told that something's gonna happen, it needs to happen. A lot of the small facilities are operating simply because of workers. If it wasn't for that, let me tell you, you don't have to believe just me. You talk to the small operators, there is little or no overnight business. And that needs to be addressed. For the kind of money you folks collect, you need to help those people survive. Mr. Chairman, with all the money that this board has given to the county golf course, what is the increase in play over the last 3 years, excuse me? I think I've made that request a couple times before and I'm not seeing anything yet. Madam Chairman, I've not received any information in regards to Mr. Ed Spear, who is a contractor with the Tour and Rec Board. I want to know if he has a state business license, a business license from the city of Ely, commercial location, or home occupation. Madam Chairman, the Nevada Northern Railroad is continuing to get additional grant money from this board in addition to the $240,000 it receives from room tax. They are operating under the Nevada Open Meeting. They are not operating under the Nevada Open Meeting Law, and the citizen, the taxpayer, cannot see how the monies are spent. Again, they need to be cut off and be held accountable. I remind you that Mr. Bassett manages the facility and his wife is the bookkeeper. There must not be any nepotism at all, period. At a recent city council meeting held on September 19, 2019, the railroad was seeking to borrow approximately $450,000, and for what? We don't know. That's a public facility. We need to know. And if they're going to borrow money, we need to know what it's for. They've yet to report what the total debt is to date. Any of you board members know? neither does the public, and that's wrong. Mr. Chairman, of the Airbnbs identified to date, how much have they paid room tax and what was the amount? Madam Chairman, has this board sent out letters to the owners of the Airbnbs notifying them of the proper licensing method? If so, I'd like a copy of those letters sent out. Months ago, I asked former member and councilwoman Jolene Gardner if she had addressed proper licensing with the city of Ely. I did not receive anything to that effect. Did she provide this board with any information, such as that, such as those that have requested zone change, variance, home occupation, state business license, county license, city business license, and a room tax license? In attending city planning commission meetings, Ely City Council, and White Pine County Commission meetings, I have not seen any applications. This board's concern is those lawbreakers are renting by the day or week, and not a dime is being collected for room tax. Have you issued a room tax license to any of them? If so, I'd like a copy of the listed Airbnbs and what they paid. I want to remind you, they're conducting a commercial enterprise in a residential zone. If it wasn't that, there would be no worry. But there's a difference between renting nightly or weekly versus monthly. Let's see. Madam Chairman, the money, $4,300 that was given to the community choir for the pigeon control needs to come back to this board. I want to remind you, NRS forbids you from supporting the private business. They were not a 501c at the time that they supposedly applied. They misled you. They do not meet minimum ADA access standards for the handicap to that particular facility. That building is not a public facility, not a public building. You gotta play it straight, or don't come here with your hand out, period. And you folks have a responsibility to see those that apply for monies meet the minimum requirements. They did not. That's all I have at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Anyone else?
Nobody's coming up, Marietta.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll go to item 2, new business. Under that, item 1, discussion and for possible action, approval of agenda, including removal of agenda items. Are there any changes, Kyle, that need to be addressed?
I think everybody's good.
All right. Do I have a motion on this that we accept it as presented?
So moved.
I'll second.
That's Ian and
All in favor?
Kurt seconds.
I'm sorry.
Ian made the motion, Kurt seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carried. Item number 2, discussion and for possible action, approval of minutes, October 22nd, 2019, 4 p.m. regular meeting. Any discussion on this?
I'd like to move that we accept the minutes as written.
Second?
All right, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Item 3, discussion, review of the financial report. Kyle?
All right.
This is for you.
Thank you very much. We'll go ahead and we'll start out with the room tax report for October. And so that goes ahead and lists the hotels and what they've reported for this month. For our hotel motels, we collected $170,143.35 in room tax. For total RV receipts, it was $10,582 even, for a total of $180,725.35. So what that equated to, Tour and Rec received $114,740.97 into our budget. The railroad received $26,774.13. The pool shows a 0 because it was lumped in with the golf course for the county. So the the pools portion as well as what was additionally raised for the golf course totaled $4,334.69, and the city of Ely received $29,855.41. If you go to the year-to-date budget, this is the one that I'm excited to explain to everybody. Because when you look at the bottom line, it shows a deficit of $16,219.94 after we showed an operating surplus last month of about $40,000. So when I saw this, I was,
Can you slow down just a little bit?
oh, absolutely, we're on that one.
Okay, the long form.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you look straight at the bottom line, you're like, what the heck just happened? But then when you go through, we're on par with, where we're supposed to be at in room tax collected for both the city and the county. We're on par for this time of year. In our expenses, we haven't really gone above and beyond other than the dues and subscriptions, which has been like that since the beginning of the fiscal. So I called Jeff and I was like, man, how did we end up becoming at a deficit? Well, what it is Robert Moore recommended that as per our auditor's recommendation, that the $150,000 that we gave as deposit for the parking lot to Rec Brothers, because the work did not start until the new fiscal year, he was more comfortable with us augmenting our budget and moving that $150,000 expense to this year's budget. So what that shows is that we were at a deficit because we spent $150,000 this year, which was kind of versus technically last year. So really it was a matter of where we were putting the money in the paperwork per the auditor's request. So if that were not the case, and that was shown in the capital outlay. So if you see a capital outlay, $192,376, that's where that $150,000 went, was into that expense line right there. So really subtract $150,000, that's how much we've spent out of capital outlay. And if you were to take $150,000 and subtract it from that 16, that's truly how much of an operational surplus we would have been had this budget augmentation not.
130 grand.
About 130 grand. That's great. So going into the lean months, which we are, and I'll talk more about that. Our spending has also gone a little bit lean too. So this is not a case of spending more than we brought in. This is a case of a budget augmentation, moving expense from last year into this year. So. Again, I probably had about a 30-minute heart attack before I could get a hold of Jeff, before that was explained to me. So with that said though, if you look at the comparisons from month to month, it did show that we were down 2% from this time last year in room tax collection. Now I looked into that a little bit further because we have a new hotel online, and so we should be actually doing significant, is it 4%? 4% down from this time last year. In the 8% comparison, and if you look at the actuals, it's 2%. Okay, so this is actually the first time since I've been here that it's shown a negative comparison. Everything has been positive growth, and this is the first time that happened. So I went and dove a little bit deeper, and we're gonna look at this form here. Yours doesn't have the red and the green on it, that's just from my notes. But George, there's also, if anybody in the audience wants to take a look at that form, I did a 3-month comparison on room tax collected, starting with the month that the Holiday Inn Express opened up, because everybody was concerned about how's the market gonna play out, when the Holiday Inn opens up. So if you kind of go across, you're gonna notice a downward trend between August, September, October anyway. A lot of these properties are showing a normal downward trend. Not calling any out in particular, but you can see at the top, there's a few that just have kind of stayed on par over that. But then there's a few that actually have gone up. You've got the 4.7s that have grown exponentially since August, September, October. You've got Lane's Ranch, which has grown, and then the Holiday Inn Express has grown significantly over that time. But you'll see there's a couple properties in there where the hits have really happened. And again, I don't know if I need to call them out by name, but you guys can kind of go from left to right, and you can see where the big downward trends have really happened. So that's kind of more of just a statement of how the market's playing out more than anything else. There's actually, I would say in my notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'd say there was about 10 that have taken significant hits, while there was 3 that showed growth during that time period. And so,
That's bound to happen, you got a new property, people are gonna wanna check it out.
totally. Oh, no, and we knew it was gonna happen. I mean, we just wondered which properties were gonna take the hit. We knew it wasn't gonna be the top level properties, it was gonna be more your mid-level properties. But yeah, so it's just kind of more of for your guys' information, you know, where the market's been playing out. We're about to start ramping up our winter promotions, you know, so I would have considered this our shoulder season. You know, contractors are going back home, projects are finishing up, things like that. You expect a downward trend, but going into January, I expect that to be an upward positive trend. So, any questions on this here? I just, you know, when I looked at the reports, I just needed to go a little bit deeper and do a 3-month comparison and see, you know, what was really happening with the hotels individually, not just the gross room tax receipts.
Yeah, that's good.
Any questions on that?
Such a small variable. I'm not sure.
So yeah, I mean, you can see the totals down here too, and I adjusted these two, so really it looked, you know, the last couple months, it's gone down roughly $10,000 in room tax going into the shoulder season per month, which is about 2% less than it was last year.
Okay. Are you done, Kyle?
I am done.
Okay. All right, thank you very much for that excellent report. Item number 4, discussion and for possible action, ratify bills. So I'll need a motion on ratifying those bills.
First, I'd like to make aware that I am not able to, I'm not going to vote on the Bath lumber bill when it comes up. I have a partial interest in that for disclosure.
So we're gonna do 2 separate motions then, Marietta?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we do. First, we're going to ratify the bills, which is $120,812.98. So I need a motion on that.
Okay, so I'll move to ratify bills $120,812.98.
I will second.
Second, good second on it?
Yeah, Kurt
Okay,
had a
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, they're approved. So item number 5, approval on the discussion and for possible action, approval to pay Bath lumber bill.
I'll make that motion.
I will second.
Okay,
What was the amount on that?
thank
Oh,
you.
sorry.
All in favor?
Well,
I gotta,
Opposed?
need to enclose the amount, so I'll make a motion to pay the Bath lumber bill in the amount of $368.34.
And I'll second that again.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
And I
Okay,
abstain.
that passed.
Marietta and I abstain.
Yes, you abstain. Board member McIntosh, let that be in the minutes that he's abstained. Okay, item number 7, discussion and for possible action, approval of meeting date scheduled for the first half of 2020.
We need to be on item 6, Marietta, the revise the event fee schedule.
Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. Please forgive me, I messed that up.
No problem.
Okay, so item 6, discussion and for possible action, revised event fee schedule. Board member McIntosh.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Board members,
Thank
I
you.
requested that we put this on the agenda and, if possible, for Kyle to present a proposed fee schedule. The previous fee schedule was from 2011, and it certainly needed to be revised and re-examined. And if you can look at the second sheet, it gives the 2011 version of it, and it's, the point size is quite small, but it's not as simplified as it could be. And when I've asked Nicole, a lot of these organizations could fall in many categories, and so the pricing could be different.
I like simple.
Right, exactly. So, and also there's a lot of things of in addition, like if you do this, it's $1, and if you do that, it's, $50. And most of the conventions or conferences we have now really need the whole buffet of a LCD projector, and so we have to assume that, not make them specify it. So let's be clean. So that, I wanted a proposed fee schedule so that it could be start the discussion with everyone. And my thought would be that we really examine this, and maybe perhaps Kyle could take it out to our stakeholders that are year after year groups that come in and others, of what do they think about it, how would they suggest we improve it? And Kyle, if you wanna.
Yeah, so I'll add to it that there has actually been a couple situations where having so many different options has become a problem, and kind of doing à la carte. One of the ones most recently is there was an event that signed up for certain things, and when they got here, they realized that they needed everything. And so unfortunately, we had to send them a bill after the event for all of the additional stuff that they had to do, where it would just be easier for everybody if we said, hey, here's the price of the facility and our AV equipment. If you need one projector, if you need 4 projectors, or if you need 1 laptop, or it's all here for you, so you're billed at once. And then offering the different discounts, to the different groups. So if you see, we have nonprofit, public use, we have school and government, funerals, conventions. So when Nicole and I did the math, it actually had very little impact on the actual final price that these organizations would be paying. It was literally $10 to $15 difference, for some organizations. Some of them would use the entire services, some of them would not, but it's much better customer service, I feel like, than sending a bill after the fact and was like, you remember when you needed that thing in a pinch? That was $25, So that was kind of the goal that we were working for, was making it more user-friendly, better customer service, and much easier to just go through what the rate would be. Things like linens and tablecloths and stuff like that have hard cost, those of course stay on the cart, but I will certainly go take this out to our different groups, mine, thing like people who, rent this consistently, and see what they think about it.
Personally, I think it's good. It's really, really smart. Anecdotally, it was frustrating. I reached out to a local media to do some advertising, and it was like a half-hour conversation to get a straight answer on what it was going to cost me to advertise, because there were so many blasted options. So having things simple is nice.
Yeah, I think it's a great start. It looks really good.
Well, definitely, please go out and let people know that we're thinking about doing this, and see what the response is.
So
So this time, this is just more review and.
Correct, that we are moving forward on this at the request of the board, and just wanted to see, what the progress that we've made so far, and get your opinions.
So bring it back
I
next.
think it's great.
Okay.
It's great.
Well, we will certainly do our due diligence and bring it back next board meeting, possibly for a vote.
Okay. All right, so were we concluded with item 6 then?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, item 7, discussion and for possible action, approval of meeting date scheduled for the first half of 2020.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
well, I think we first probably need to discuss December, since the normal meeting would be the 24th, and we probably want to move it up a little bit. I was going to ask the board if, we have the room tax cut off on the 15th, correct?
Which is a Sunday, so it would actually be the 16th when
Right.
the deadline would be.
So I was, we need to give Jeff some time to get this calculated, but I was either 18, 19, or 20, and just wanted to throw those out for Kyle to review.
I'm cool with the
What
19th.
I understood is that it's already scheduled for the 19th, is that correct?
Well, I think we can, is it scheduled for the 19th?
Yes.
Will that give enough time for Jeff?
Yes, we can get that done in that amount of time.
Okay, so 4 o'clock on the 19th.
Is that good with everybody? Okay. All right. So then what do we think about January? Does the 21st work for everyone? Which would be our normal,
It's
that would
good for
be
me.
right after Fire and Ice and right before the ice fishing derby. Okay. Cool. 18th for February.
That's the third, that's kind of tight, isn't it? Isn't it the fourth Friday, or the fourth Tuesday?
It's the fourth Tuesday.
Mhm.
That's the
Yeah.
25th. Because
So then
if
it-
you close
Oh,
on the
so then in
17th.
in January, I said the 21st was the
Used to be the
third
28th.
Tuesday, so it would be the 28th.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so
28th in January,
so
okay.
28th in January,
Mhm.
25th in February,
That's good for me.
the 24th in March,
Okay.
and the 28th in April, and that does not conflict with Rural Roundup or anything like that.
I was just gonna say that, yeah.
And if it was May, it would be the 26th.
Is that right after Memorial Day, though? Is that,
I think-
think so.
Yes, it is.
or does that work
It's
for
the day
everyone?
after Memorial Day.
That was-
Fine with me,
The 25th is Memorial Day. Oh, no, the 26th is what we're talking about. All right,
Probably be fine.
I'm good.
I'll be back to work by
Me
then.
too.
What jobs I'm gonna deal with. All right, so is that the 6 months, or do we need to go into June?
It's really more of us till through June.
Okay, then that would be the 23rd of June.
23rd of June, perfect. All right.
Okay.
Looks good to me.
Do I have a motion to accept those new dates for next year?
So moved.
I will second.
Second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Item 8, discussion only, executive director's report.
All right, well,
for
thank.
Market and investment facilities.
All right, well, thank you. I'm gonna start off my director's report, introducing Errol Porter, who is our marketing manager for Tour and Rec. He's been working remotely as he's been finishing off his responsibilities down in Las Vegas after graduating school down there, but he is originally from Eureka, and so understands the rural life as well as big city inspiration. But we've been slowly easing him in. This is the first week where he's actually been at his desk full time, and I'll tell you what a difference, already in the amount of work that we've been able to complete, in just these last 2 days. So I'm gonna let Errol kind of say a few things and.
Thanks, Kyle. I'm not gonna stand because I'm short and it's not gonna make a difference anyway. But yeah, like you said, I'm from Eureka, just about an hour that way. Graduated UNLV this past May, graduated in 3 years somehow. And yeah, I just want to start by saying thank you to the board for this amazing opportunity, and thank you, and especially to Kyle for working with me while I was remote and traveling back and forth and everything, so thank you very much for that. These past couple months, I've been able to update the calendar remotely, so the calendar's been updated every single month with events and things that are going on throughout the whole county. And I've been able to put those on Facebook and Twitter. So if you've been on Facebook and you've seen a post, odds are, could have been me. Most likely me, I did post a lot. And coordinating those two and hopefully engaging the community with everything that's going on there. Recently, I just outlined a mural campaign with Kyle that hopefully will come to fruition in the next couple months. Then we can start working on campaigning for that. A couple of weeks ago, I was able to go to the governor's conference for tourism with Caroline, Marietta, and Kyle, and that was fantastic. I got a cold at the beginning of it, so that was rough. That was nice, but Caroline and Marietta were able to take care of me, thankfully.
And I still forced him into talking to sales reps and media people, whether he was sick or not.
Yeah, I was still able to get through it. And several of the talks were great. Definitely eye-opening, inspirational. Specifically, there were several talks that talked about communities and being able to influence them and be one-on-one with people and everything there. I've lived in Eureka. I grew up there, but to see things through those eyes and different marketing aspects and all that stuff was really great. It gave me great insight and just ideas of how to go about marketing here. And of course, Kyle's a great inspiration in working with him and directing me and doing his job.
Cool.
Hopefully.
Good director, good director.
See, I thought this is something else. And that's pretty much it. That's what I've got going on. I just got up here. This is, as Kyle said, my first week officially up here, and it's been great so far. I think I agree with him. It's fantastic being able to talk to him directly, not over a text, not over email, not having to wait for a call. I can just ask him a question. And we have so far, just in 2 days, I've gotten a lot done. So
You've probably seen the frenzy on Facebook.
yeah,
No.
it's all started. But yeah, and I just want to thank everyone again. If anyone has any questions, I can try to answer.
Welcome.
Thank you. I see George has a question.
Welcome, Darrell.
Not that bad.
Did you have a question, George?
I do. I've skimmed through Facebook and I've seen some of these, but in all honesty, I don't recall seeing a tagline on there with your name on it or a contact number. Can you do that, or you do not do that?
As far as I know, Facebook doesn't have contact numbers. It doesn't say who posted, whether it was me or Kyle or whoever.
The
If
people-
you're-
The people on the administrative side, you can see who posted it typically. If you've given him access, unless he's logging in on like a dummy account that we've got.
No, it's-
So on the administrative side, you can see that.
Okay.
But it doesn't
So I
post
know when he posts, because I can see that who posted it.
No, I understand that, but if I'm looking through that and I'm looking to see who I contact,
Oh, so there would be an about section that would have the phone number, the email addresses, the things like that.